Good day. Welcome to another episode of Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Let's not waste no time. Let's get right to it. So, there are the remembered big threes in NBA history of Baylor, West, Chamberlain. Then you have Kareem, Magic, Worthy, Bird, Parrish, McHale. Then there's the forgotten big three. Run TMC is a forgotten big three. Let's see. Let's see. I can't think of another forgotten big three, but of course, you had the Celtics, big three. Okay. So I was thinking to myself, I was thinking about this the other day. What could have been if the Charlotte Hornets big three had stayed together for a few years of Mourning, Johnson, and Bouges? Okay. Just think what what was supposed to be a long run big three with the Charlotte Hornets turned into like a 3-year big three of Bouges, Johnson, and Mourning. Just made me start to wonder what would have happened if that big three had stayed together in Charlotte. I believe they would have been a challenger to the Bulls. They would have been a challenger to the Orlando Magic. They would have been a challenger to the Knicks. They would have been a challenger to the Indiana Pacers. And doesn't necessarily mean that they were going to win. But the Hornets, if that big three had stayed together for more years, then they definitely would have stayed around for the next 10 years as the Orlando Magic were supposed to stay around for the next 10 years. The first of the big three arrived in Charlotte in '88 when Muggsy Bouges was picked up from the expansion draft. Then Larry Johnson came in '91. Then Alonzo Mourning in the '92 draft. And they went 44-38 together in their first season. Outplayed the Boston Celtics, where Mourning outplayed Parrish, and 4-game win for the Hornets. Lost to the Knicks in the second round, but they were on their way. Then Johnson had injuries next year. Mourning had injuries next year. Then they fell back to 41-41. Then they were all back healthy for 95. They go 15-32, lose to the Bulls in the first round. Then Mourning gets traded to the Miami Heat. Johnson goes to the Knicks after the 96 season, and that was pretty much it. But what could have been if the Hornets big three stayed together? They definitely would have been challengers, but I don't think they were challenged enough to beat a Chicago or a Orlando, or maybe even a Indiana. Okay. But in the 93 East season was something. Okay. Of course, you had Alonzo, Larry, and Muggsy. But bringing up the rear were Kendall Gill, Del Curry, Johnny Newman, Mike Jameski, Kenny Gaddison, Kevin Lynch, Coach Tony Bennett, who is a college basketball coach now and Sidney Green. You also had second year coach Alan Bristow, and had one of had a good assistant coach in T.R. Dunn, and I believe Bill Hanslick was also there too, if I'm not mistaken. And there was a myth among that Mourning and Johnson really weren't friendly. Well, how many times have Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson said they were competitors? Okay, they were competitors. I know some people don't believe that. I know some people actually believe that Mourning and Johnson never liked each other, especially after what happened in the '98 playoffs, where Mourning and Johnson were throwing fists. And one of the first things that Doc Rivers said was both of those guys will not be playing in Game 5. And he also made a follow-up point and said, that's old blood from Charlotte. Yeah. But Mourning and Johnson dispute that. They say they were just competitive. Okay. But Alonzo Mourning said he never wanted to leave Charlotte. Larry Johnson never wanted Alonzo to leave Charlotte. Muggsy never wanted Zoe to leave Charlotte. So you have your people over here who say Johnson and Mourning were competitive. Then you have your people over here who say old blood. Okay, so you're always gonna have those people. It definitely makes for fun to debate, though. I know for sure. It definitely makes for fun to debating whether really Johnson or Mourning liked each other. I think Larry Johnson began having back issues as early as his first season in the NBA. And so by the time he got to New York, he really couldn't be the Larry Johnson he was in Charlotte. He had to rely more on a perimeter game and post-up moves, but he couldn't like grandmama dunk LJ. Then early in the 97-98 season, the last of the big three left when Bouges was sent to the Golden State Warriors very early in the season. So yeah, so the last of the big three left early in the 97-98 season when Muggsy got traded to Golden State. So, but what would have happened if they would have stayed together? My guess is they would have competed with Charlotte, New York, Chicago, Orlando, Indiana. But we can guess as to what would have happened, but the truth is we will never know because that big three was short-lived. All right, that's it, and that's all for Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am out of here. God bless. See y'all on the next one. Peace.